This video presentation of Lucas Energy Inc. It's a New York Stock Exchange market listed company trading under ticker LEI. A lot of stocks pulling back these last few days. Went through a lot of charts to try and find one that looked like it might be ready for a recovery. I picked this one because it's got a nice support at 95 cents, facing a little bit of resistance at $1. Got the stop loss within about 5% from current prices. And I think it's an opportunity to pay attention to this chart to see if it's got a bounce in it. If it breaks through that resistance, its upside's about 10%, back up to around $1.10. See, realistically, stock's been falling off pretty hard. MACD is actually relatively ugly. From a reversal standpoint, I'd look for that trend line to be broken, because you can see how it's just regularly making lower lows. It is wedging out a little bit. That top trend line's an important point to try and show a reversal in the chart. Is giving hints of a bullish cross coming. You can see the histogram bars climbing back towards zero. And typically when it has dropped a bullish cross, there has been a nice little bounce in share price. Although right through here it didn't even move 5%. But overall, looking for a short-term trend shift with the bullish cross, i.e. looking for the bounce. And in the broader scope, I'd look for that top trend line to be broken to possibly signal an overall reversal in the chart. Now CS is setting up somewhat as a PPO ADX pinch. It's not super deep. The ADX hasn't even started to flatten out yet, but the positive and negative DIs are in a typical position for a bounce. Again, that's just one more thing heading towards the stock trying to hold support and at least make a temporary move back upward. Money flow index, 7 curling back up. Still in bear chart territory, well below 50. Most of these indicators are going to be buried in oversold conditions. I mean, that's exactly what's going on with the chart. So we're just looking for signs for the bounce. And the 7 starting to move upward towards the 14 and 21 is another hint that may be coming. Accumulation distribution actually is already starting to climb back upward. And given the price drop, it's pretty surprising to see the shake in money flow climbing back towards zero the way that it has, indicating that over the last 20 periods, buying and selling pressure is somewhat equal. Again, it's another short-term bullish sign. CCI coming back upward, breaking through negative 100. So we reference in a lot of charts. Bottom feeders will look for that break of 100 as a buy point. It'll be a hold until it breaks back down through negative 100. Although technically speaking, per the rules of the CCI, the actual buy signal isn't dropped until the break of positive 100. Full still, slight curl, not too much to read into this. A little bit of momentum building over the last couple days, but again, nothing special, still down in bear chart territory. And the trick's a lagging indicator. For a bounce play like this, typically not going to get anything from the tricks at all. Relative strength index, making a move upward, even the 14 and 21 starting to curl upward. 7 and 14 coming out of oversold positions. The key break, of course, is break of 50 for the chart to go truly bullish. But for a play trying to come off a support level, that's a pretty nice look to see some momentum building in the chart. Now, as I referenced to start this out, 95 cents is the key bottom support I'm going to be looking for to hold. I'd say it does pick up a little bit more up here around 97 cents. Because you can see the stock's pulled up every day into the close to hold that level. But ultimately, the important support for me is this 95-cent bottom. I do see a little bit of resistance right there at $1, albeit short term. The $1 marks a common psychological barrier, and even just over the last few days, see the stock's had a difficult time pushing through that mark. Now, if it breaks through that, there's not any resistance in the way until up to $1.10, and then beyond that, I don't see more until back up near $1.20. I'd say more realistically, right up around $1.23, which is pretty nice gains from Tuesday's closing price of $1. And I don't look for anything like that to happen tomorrow. I always say that. It's always staying short-term focused at first, and that's breaking through this resistance at $1. Indicators moving into more bullish positions, perhaps a push up this $1.10 resistance. 50-day moving average is coming down. It's going to lend dynamic resistance to that area. Maybe there's a pullback after that, try and make a higher low, and then continue upward. Trying to identify a true bottom in this chart. And generally speaking, those things take time to happen. And for right now, let's just stay near-term focused and look at this 95 cent and $1 mark and see how the stock performs, trying to bounce back and forth in between those two areas. Volume was pretty slight on this on Tuesday, only 113,000 shares traded. It can certainly trade more in one day, but I'd say 100,000 mark is pretty typical. Has some days lower than that, has a few days up around 200,000. I'd certainly like to see a larger volume bar, 3, 4, 500,000 shares maybe, to break through this first resistance, show some true buying interest in this play, and help push indicators of trend and momentum further away from these oversold conditions, break some trend lines like I mentioned with the MACD, and see if this chart can start to trend upward going forward. Those are the things that I'll be looking for in the LEI chart, but as always, merely my interpretation. Thank you for watching. Trade smart.